All right, everyone, you want to hear a joke? Marxist economics. Naomi Ocasio-Cortez is having a problem right now. I'm surprised. Does she have like a GoFundMe up or something? She should live stream and take super chats from people because apparently she's like, well, I don't start getting my congressional salary for the first 3 months. I get paid after 3 months. I've got to move to DC before then so I can start my job, and I don't have money for rent. Oh my God, it's so terrible. It's like, yeah, okay, you're 29 years old, unemployed, socialist. You're having money problems. Why am I not fucking surprised? See, this is why these people should not be managing economics for the larger economy. It will be a disaster if this sort of person becomes the new norm within politics. Thankfully, it seems like Gen Z, by and large, is less receptive than us millennials towards leftist economics. Like on a moral issue, it's like they don't care about like gay marriage and abortions. By the way, I agree with them. But economically, they're further left than the millennials, possibly because they're coming of age in the Trump economy when things are going better, and in which the free market has shown once again that where it exists at all, it actually works fairly well. The millennials had to come of age after Bush had fucked away a bunch of money, got widely blamed for the fallout when the bubbles burst, which is partially true. And then Obama gets a pass, even though he threw billions of dollars to private corporations he should have restructured, even though he gave golden parachutes to a bunch of CEOs, even though he basically oversaw a recovery that was organic and didn't even touch small-town America. So millennials are stuck on the idea that Obama was some sort of whiz kid when it came to recovering economies, which is about the funniest thing you could possibly think of. Here's the thing, though. She's a socialist. Oh, no, social democrat. Big difference there. Yeah. There's a big, when they use these little family-friendly buzzwords for political stances that are basically the same thing as something else, just use the pre-existent term. Social democrat is a misnomer. That's just a subgroup within socialism. No, I don't care if you disagree. We can debate this all day if you want to. You believe in redistributionism. You're just like, it's redistributionism with a heart. See, there's like a rose on our fucking logo and stuff. It's not really socialism. Well, it kind of is, but not really. There's a little bit less central planning. It's like basically a step beyond the interventionism we already have. Your social democrat style platform is pretty much economically what we already do. Most of the economic productivity of the Western world is siphoned off in the form of military, entitlement programs and welfare, and pensions and bureaucrats and things like that. The majority of the productivity goes that way. Every dollar you make, you're taxed when you make it. The employer's taxed. You're taxed when you spend it. You're taxed if you hold it. You're taxed constantly. You know, it's a real free market situation. Basically, everything belongs to the government. You can pay rent to own the means of productivity in most states. It's called a property tax. If you have to pay a property tax on your business holdings, like you have a brick and mortar store, sorry, you don't own the means of production. A free market literally can't exist. It's impossible. But not surprised that a far left individual would have difficulty budgeting. It's like, if you had foresight, you would have seen this coming. You're like, hey, I don't start getting paid for a few more months, but I have to move there, before I actually start going to my job. I'm going to need an apartment or whatever. But thankfully, there's a free market enough online, Miss Cortez. You can start a GoFundMe or a Patreon or something. Yeah, there are people that would actually donate to you. You'd probably make $5-6 grand a month easy if you started a Patreon and just did like a weekly podcast or something. Because a lot of people know your name, and a lot of these leftist trust fund babies have more money than sense and will actually pay you to do things. So why don't you fucking just do that? And don't think it breaks any campaign finance laws. Maybe, kind of, sort of, like, that's one concern I had, was that I get Patreon money from people that aren't in the United States. I'm like, well, if for some reason I do end up on a debate stage talking to, Halquist and Phil Scott, I think that might come up as an issue. I think that might be a little bit of a problem. So it's like, basically fucked in the ass mode. Meanwhile, they can embezzle like $1 million and no one bats an eye. And do all that money disappear. Remember when Jonathan Gruber, the Obamacare lawyer architect, actually was part of the Vermont panel that was looking in under Peter Shumlin into universal health care for Vermont, and the state of Vermont sued him. He was overcharging. He was trying to shill the people of Vermont and steal their money. He got sued for hundreds of thousands of dollars, finally settled out. He probably still made off like a bandit. Jonathan Gruber. Yeah, Peter Shumlin thought it would be a good idea to rely on him. Like, yeah, okay. All right, Peter. There's a reason you're not seeking re-election. I have a feeling it's not because of your general approval polling. It's not just because you're pissing the progressives off by saying, look, we can't afford this program. I think it might have to do with something a little deeper but still connected to it, if you know what I'm saying. Ocasio-Cortez will have trouble even when she is getting her congressional side. How much is she being afforded, by the way? What state is she from? She's a New Yorker, right? So she has to go to D.C. and stuff. And D.C. rent is high. Oh shit, look into it sometime. It's like San Francisco. But she's going to be getting a decent, at least high five-figure salary. And you've got to understand something. Here's the other thing. People in Congress, in most positions, are also afforded a certain stipend for other expenses on top of their salary. Like, they get their salary, whatever it is. They also get a little congressional credit card, so to speak, that the taxpayers keep flush. That's for travel expenses, anything related to their job. For topical meal expenses, fuel for the fucking car and stuff. A little bit for rent. It's topical expenses are generally taken care of. The idea is that it's a fraction of their total salary. You're basically giving them free money that they don't even have to pay a tax on. I don't think that this should be done, by the way. I think that generally speaking, their salaries are high enough so that they should be able to live in D.C. or wherever else. Why do I care if the senator or the representative has a fucking luxury apartment or has to make do with an average place that costs half as much? What the fuck do I care if they're able to dine out at a place where it's $100 a plate or if they're getting a meal at McDonald's? Dude, you're supposed to be a servant of the people. Instead, I think that's been inverted over time. I know perhaps that sounds a little bit naive, but when you have someone who openly proclaims basically socialism, saying, oh, I can't pay my rent, fucking use the free market online, the one that you want to destroy, by the way, by deplatforming everyone else's edgy views. I think your views are edgy, so it would be very funny if that ends up happening. Yeah, the Naomi Ocasio-Cortez rent fund. I need $5,000 a month so that I can, get a decent apartment in D.C. Maybe they shouldn't have elected a 29-year-old social democrat. Maybe it would have been a better idea to go with someone who's actually sane and has some world experience and knows what they're fucking doing. Oh, wait, it's New York, so, it's good luck. That's about all. Peace out.